You are listening to episode 126 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody here at the Game Deflators podcast. We like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we finish it this week with a special awesome guest.
Dude, I wasn't I was expecting the finish it part, but I wasn't expecting the super awesome guest section. But this week we got a special guest. We've got Paul Niemeyer, an artist of many hats in the industry, from arcade machines to current video games to just about anything you can think of in the art world. So, Paul, thanks for joining us this week.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is great fun.
Yeah. So, Paul, if you don't mind, just kind of giving everybody a brief introduction of who you are and kind of why you're relevant to the gaming industry.
Why are you relevant anyway? Yeah. I look in the mirror every morning. Why are you relevant, man? What's going on here? Okay. I started in the gaming industry in '82. I was hired at Bally Midway, and I worked there as an employee until '84. In that time, I worked on TRON with Doug Watson. I did Tapper with Margaret Hudson, and let's see who else worked on that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Spy Hunter, 3 PacMan games. It was Super PacMan, PacMan Plus, and the obscure Professor PacMan. It's become kind of a white whale unicorn in the business. Then after that, I went freelance and worked in advertising for a long time. It was Kellogg's and McDonald's and all kinds of liquor accounts for a long, long time. Worked on a bunch of movies. I was still working on video games that whole time for about 10 years there. I ended up doing the artwork on the very first Mortal Kombat game in '92, and let's see. Then I started working on movie properties. Worked on Jurassic Park and all sorts of things, Star Wars, and just a lot of stuff.
You've done it absolutely all. It sounds like
a little bit of everything. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Then I opened a haunted house. I know. Hey, let's do that now.
Where'd you open it at?
A couple different places. The haunted industry is a fickle mistress, let me tell you. I started out in Joliet in the building next door to the Rialto. And long story short, we ended up at a pumpkin farm. And they built us a huge building. We had about 8,000 square feet of interior stuff and another 10,000 square feet of outdoor show. It was a really big show. I mean, it was a big deal. Ran that for about 10 years. Then I kind of got out of the business there, sold off what I had out of that, and I started making props, and I've been designing rides and attractions and building props for like theme parks and haunted houses and escape rooms and pretty much all over the world. We're going all over the place. I was in France a couple of years ago building an escape room in Lyon, France that I had designed.
Man, that's absolutely amazing.
And a roller coaster of a ride, let me tell you. So yeah, that's kind of who I am. So there you go.
Nice. So I guess the core question that we'd want to start out with was, your beginnings as an artist. Is it through traditional schooling? Did you kind of just self-teach yourself over the years? How did you kind of ground yourself initially?
Yes and yes. I grew up on a dairy farm, and luckily my parents saw the talent in me. My mom was a very talented artist. My dad was a very talented draftsman. Although he was a farmer, he was pretty talented. I'd seen all kinds of things that I think that's kind of what he probably wanted to be, but never got to actually do that. So I ended up with both their talents. That worked out really well. Then I went to school, studied formal artwork, and where they could afford to they would send me to classes. They'd drive me up to, the nearest classes in Park Forest, Illinois, just a southern suburb of Chicago. And there was an art league there, and they had these modest classes, and they were pretty cool. I remember learning a lot, and I kind of launched my art career there, more or less. I was in junior high. I was around a bunch of other really talented artists, and that whole artist mystique and it was just fun and energizing, and I wanted to be part of it. I remember just being really fired up by that whole process. And then, I went to college and studied art, and here we be. So.
Ryan, I've got the next question to you, but I'll jump into it.
That's awesome. I went to school for art too. I graduated from ASU with a BA in ceramics.
Oh, really? I got a BA in ceramics.
So awesome. I really envy that, taking on that artist's life. I was going to ask you a little bit later on, like if you dabbled in other mediums.
Oh God, yeah. Let's talk ceramics. Holy crap, yeah. I've wanted to open a ceramics studio for like all my life. I dabbled in it in the early '90s. I had sculptures, and I had them in a bunch of different galleries down in like Fort Myers and Sanibel Island and up in Door County. And oh yeah. Okay. I already blew that, didn't I? We were going to talk about that later, right?
No. That's perfect. I mean, like, I'm passionate about ceramics too. I get it. It gets in you.
Isn't it? Oh my God. Yeah. Play with clay. Oh my God, you want to play with it? Right now, I'm doing a sculpt for a pinball game. I can't. That's all I can talk about. I can't even say the theme or anything. I wish I could show you the sculpt because it's really turning out cool, man. But I get to play with clay. I don't know how cool is that.
Now, is the sculpture for that pinball? Is it going to be within that machine itself, or like?
Okay, I'll just say it's going to be on the play field. There's 4 or 5 sculpts that will be on the play field.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we look forward to. We'll have to get it from you, some visuals when you can.
Yeah. Who saw that coming? I don't know.
So, kind of going back into like the schooling aspect. Was there anything in particular that you would like? When you're a kid and whatnot, you'll doodle random things on paper. Is there anything that you kind of stuck to, and that was what you would practice consistently while you were in school?
Growing up on a farm. I drew what was around me, so I drew a lot of plants, and I was fascinated with nature, and was raised in a Lutheran school. Went to a Lutheran parochial school, and being that it was all farm communities around there, the focus was pretty much agriculture and horticulture, and that suited me just fine. I love that, and I was lucky enough to have teachers that saw talent in me and encouraged me to draw and got me as much help as they possibly could. I really was lucky all the way down the line. But as far as what I like to draw was like I said, plants and stuff. But ironically, I used to love to draw dragons. I never knew why. Just loved. I put little dragons curling up the side of the page and making little loops, and I just love the idea of the serpentine. I think is what really I like the most about it. Is that you can do any number of serpentine designs with it. It was just a great way to doodle the day away. And ironically, being the Mortal Kombat artist, my high school mascot is a dragon.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Tiny little school, Grant Park, Illinois. Population of 850. I kid you not. There were 43 in my graduating class.
Wow.
Yeah, small. Small.
That's not too far off. I had a graduating class in high school of about 85.
Okay. Okay. Tiny town. Yeah, small town. Yeah, I get it. So yeah, Grant Park Dragons. The irony does not escape me. Dragons all that time. It really is kind of funny. I do look back at it and go on, that is, how did that work out? How does that happen? Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
It's fate, right?
Yeah. Kismet.
So when you were in school, did you start doing professional work like already as a student, or was that later on when you graduated? You started going out and doing professional work for like money and companies and going to do the video games and stuff?
Yeah, a little bit in school. I mean, I was very industrious in school. I remember having like 4 part-time jobs simultaneously. And one of them was, but I mean, they were all like, many were art related. One of them was stretching canvases and cleaning brushes and just organizing the paint department. The other job was working for the ceramic department, being the glaze guy. I learned, you appreciate this, I learned so much about glazes by just having to mix them, because you're the guy, and they're, now it's a job, buddy, and I got it, early on. I think earlier than everybody else did, because they're all just putzing around. Oh, this is fun,
Yeah.
But it was a job for me, and they were expecting these glazes, and they had to be tested, and they had to work out, and if they didn't, it was my ass. So that was I remember what a huge learning experience that was in itself.
Could you make a good purple?
We used to have something called what the hell is it called? Something slip. Oh boy, Albany Slip. I knew it was something in New York. Albany Slip was this amazing stuff, and we took it for granted because there was just like an endless supply, And then wherever they were mining, Albany Slip went dry somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s or somewhere, and that made a killer purple that would break up. It was just gorgeous. You could put it over clear, and it would break up, and it would do all kinds of amazing stuff. Albany Slip, yeah, that stuff. It's something. It was just like, what? There's no Albany Slip? What? Wait, what? What? Yeah. Yep.
So,
That's a good one.
So, outside of making glazes and ceramics, what would you consider to be your first professional gig that you did in the art industry?
I designed a logo for a local record store in Charleston, Illinois. I went to Eastern Illinois University. Yeah, that's right. I remember I traded them some high FX records, a couple of Alan Parsons, high FX albums for a logo I did.
Is that store?
It counts. Okay, that's my first sale. Okay.
Is that store and that logo still around?
Probably.
No.
I don't know. No. I'm guessing no.
Probably no. Given it's a record store.
That'd be a stretch. Come to think of it, I take it back now. Actually, I sold. I had a one-man show in junior college. I went to Kankakee Community College, and I ended up selling a couple pieces out of that show and got a commission to do 2 landscapes. Now that I think about it, I think I made about $1,000 off of it. No, that was like $1,978,000. So that was a decent $1,000. Okay, $1,000, that paid my tuition. Okay.
That's like a real $1,000. That's a grown-up $1,000.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Got $1,000, baby. Yeah, it meant something back then. That was.
I think nowadays I don't know what that buys you nowadays.
Yeah, I'm a thousandaire.
So
a lot of that going around,
Right.
So you had mentioned earlier, and we talked a little bit about it so far, but like the ceramics and such, and of course you do. I would imagine pencils and ink and paint and such. What is your favorite medium to typically work on?
Pencil, without a doubt, pencil. Because it was my first, and I was just talking to a really good buddy of mine, another illustrator, Rich Lowe, super talented guy, and we both said that we've worked in every medium you can possibly imagine. I mean, mosaic, glass, pencil, ink, paint, every kind of paint there is, airbrush, you name it. And we come back to pencil, because when we were little, that's what was always around. There was always a pencil and a piece of paper to draw on, and that was always our favorite. It's like your first love, pencil. And that's why right now I'm actually starting a new business called Realty Portraits. I got a buddy that's a realtor, and we came up with this. And I just love, I don't know why, I just love drawing architecture. I'm just fascinated by it. Because it's just so, I think, counter to anything organic. To me, man invented straight lines. There are no straight lines in the universe, right? It took humans to invent straight lines.
Yeah.
So then we made houses out of them. So I like drawing those.
Yeah, I've seen a few of the pieces actually on your Facebook page, and they look solid.
Thanks.
Been really good to look at.
Well, okay, if you've seen them, then you know I have a true passion for pencil. I think the love I have for it shows in those pieces. It really does. I can do pencil all day long. So that's what I'm trying to do, actually.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Get enough bookings. I will be doing pencil all day long. And we can sit around in my underwear, drink beer.
Speaking of which, what beer do you?
Kids, right.
What beer do you have right there? Which one is that?
Choice.
The Goose Island IPA.
Oh, that's
okay.
my favorite.
I know, isn't that great? Oh my god! And then those clever bastards! They put it in a 15 can container. Oh my god! 15
Well,
cans.
you and I are linking up here. I think we got a lot in common.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Beer and ceramics, say no more.
So, we heard about your first professional gig. What's like your crowning achievement? Like, what's the feather in your cap?
Well,
what's the one that people point to and they're like, that's the name?
Mortal Kombat.
Well, I was about to say, other than Mortal Kombat. Make it tough on the guy.
And it's funny because, actually, back in the day, my Mortal Kombat experience did not end well, to the point where I never showed the Mortal Kombat logo or anything related to Mortal Kombat in my book ever.
Really?
Ever. Yeah. And here I am, the artist which maybe illustrated arguably the most recognizable logo maybe on the planet, arguably, and yet at the end of it all, my little feelings got hurt, and I was pretty much done with it, and I walked away from it. Yeah, I don't want to badmouth anything or say, but it's weird how when the money and the fame get big, the thinking gets real small.
Yeah.
And I think if you've talked to some of the other guys who are involved in that first game, we all kind of sing the same song. And I don't want to I don't want to beat it to death and then sound like a sour sap, but when now we're all kind of hooking up here 27, 28 years later, and we're going to dinner and sharing our stories, and we're going, you too? Oh my god! We all got well. At least I feel good. We all got screwed. We're all screwed together, and that's what really.
Yeah.
So we gotta have a camaraderie in getting screwed over on that.
Bonding moment.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, that's the thing that everybody always says is Mortal Kombat. I now that I think about it, I have to say that probably my haunted house show was called Abyss Haunted House, and I think that was probably my favorite thing that I did, because it was an evolving thing. It was I owned it for 10 years, and we ended up tearing it down and rebuilding it. Oh God, like 5 times. That's a lot. That's a lot.
But you got to do like a lot of different stuff. Like you got to do like some prop work on that, I'd imagine. And you're a ceramic guy. Did you get into doing like sculpts for like any kind of makeups or anything like that too? I've watched a lot of Face Off, and I love all that kind of world.
Right. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that was exactly it. And we were kind of learning on the run. Boy, we do all kinds of prosthetics. Working in latex and silicone, and I don't know a horror makeup expert, but I can hold my own. Okay.
You got your own secret blood recipe?
I do actually. It turns out. Okay, it's 2 parts red food coloring, 1 part green. Green is what makes it, what really sells it, because when it gets
balance that out.
You know why? Because when it gets thick, it looks black, and when it gets thin, it looks red, like real blood.
Well, you kind of have that brownish tinge that kind of goes into it as well, right? When you mix the green to red. Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're complementary colors, so you know. The thing about it is, when it gets thick, it's not brown; it's black, like a deep wound. A deep wound bleeds. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love the gore. Oh my god, we just have so much fun with the haunted house. When I did have the haunt, we had a panel of 32 video screens. Like 2 huge screens, and then 32 panels, 16 on each. Oh my god, it was insane. Everybody wanted to come in there and stand there and just laugh. 32 scenes going on, and people screaming, running, you're holding your side. You're holding your side. So, and of course, we used to have this gag. Oh, this is horrible. What we did to people. We create our own scent, which is a mixture of guts and I swear to God, this is the name of this is literally like when you go to order it, it's called liquid ass.
Guts and liquid ass.
And liquid ass. We mix those 2 bad boys together. Nobody would go in that room. It was the most horrifying stench. Oh my God, it was horrible. So we had a toilet in there that would we would set up so that when you walked in the door, it would squirt at you.
Oh.
So now you think you're getting squirted with that smell, but you're just getting hit with water. But it doesn't matter. When you open that door and you just get hit with that wall of stench, and then something sprays you. You know, your immediate thought is, "I got sprayed with that stench. Oh my God, what have they done to me?"
I need to start buying stock in liquid ass, man.
I'm telling you, sit down for the rest of the room. The rest of them, they're like, trying to get this shit off them, and they're not paying attention. You know, and people are jumping out. They're getting scared left and right because these idiots are just going, cut the shit out. I was diabolical. It was just so much fun. God. So anyway, the control for the squirt for the toilet, where the toilet was actually in the control booth. So you would just sit there all night and just spray people from the phone. Oh, best damn job ever.
Man, you ever bring that back, let the Game Deflators know. We want to check it out.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, I worked at a couple of haunts now. I just go by and do I got a moonlight. Just do makeup, and I was a cast manager for a couple of years. That's just dabbling for me. You know, that's so easy. Being the owner, what a headache. You know, every night's a headache. There's always a drunk you got to throw out. There's always some cops that you got to call. There's always somebody started a fire in the parking lot. That's the bullshit that you deal with when you're the owner.
I don't know, Ryan, it sounds like a pretty dream vacation. Go hang out at Galloping Ghost Arcade, play some games with Paul, and squirt people with liquid ass at night.
Artist by day, liquid ass by night.
Well, let's not confine it tonight. What the 24/7 liquid? Way too confined. You gotta think bigger,
okay. Paul's wife is in the other room going like, oh, he's talking about the liquid ass again.
Not the liquid ass story again. That old chestnut Christ.
So, other than a wider range of various projects and hats that you've worn with, of course, Mortal Kombat and penciling and haunted houses and ceramics, are there any current projects that you're working on, maybe specifically in video games, that you'd want to share with us?
Oh yeah, actually, funny. I literally just finished my fourth Nintendo Switch game for Premium Edition, and this one is called it's Demon Tier Plus. I'm not sure when it's going to be coming out, but we've already got Blood Hockey, Super Blood Hockey out, and Pigeon Dev, collection of Pigeon Dev games. Those two have my artwork on it. There's another one I can't say that'll be coming out, and then this one was Demon's Chair, and I literally just finished artwork today this afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll have to check those out when you post them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Check out my Facebook page. The very moment that I get the green light to throw them up there, I most definitely will. I'm real proud of this stuff. We took kind of a retro approach to it. They were like, hey, could you do like the old 70s kind of pinball looking art, or was it like 80s side art on the video games where it was a black line trap with silkscreen flat colors behind it. I said, okay, let's take it to another level where we're still using that same technique on pinball games, but like in the late 80s, where we had a little more, there was like differentiation, and there was color gradations in it, and really expand on the whole thing. So, and between that and kind of the golden age of comics was the approach that we took to the artwork on it, and I think we nailed it. So, I'm really excited to show it.
Yeah, this would be pretty nice to see. Sorry, Ryan. We didn't ask you.
Your plug?
Your plug. So you can find him on Facebook at Paul Niemeyer, right?
Yeah.
Facebook.
Paul E. Niemeyer.
Paul E. Niemeyer. That's right. Because I noticed the other day there's multiple Paul Niemeyers. Apparently, there's like 3 of them.
There's 3 of us, and it's funny. We all got kind of our own little monocle of fame. One of the Paul Niemeyers is a literature professor at A&M University in Texas, and the other one is Paul V. Niemeyer, and he is a federal appellate judge in Virginia.
You're an eclectic bunch.
Yeah, we're gonna do Paul Con.
Yeah, you can't keep those Niemeyers down.
So I wanted to ask you with the arcade cabs and such, what was the general process on that when you were creating the artwork on that? Can you kind of just walk us through what that process would look like on creating arcade cab artwork?
Oh wow! It was funny back in the day. We really rodeoed our way through those projects. It's not done like that at all today. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Would be Satan's Hollow. I was young and dumb and just trying my hardest to get noticed in the department. I was the youngest in the department. Everybody else, we had merged with the Bally pinball gods. So I was there like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, they're merging the art departments and they're bringing them out from Bally. So all these guys that had all kinds of incredible credits to their name and their reputation. They're in the next booth, the next cubicle over. Like, oh my God, I played all their games in college, and now I'm working with these guys. So that was my take on it. I was the youngster in the department trying to get noticed. And luckily, Paul Ferris pinball god, liked me and took me under his wing. And he gave me my first game to do, and that was Satan's Hollow. And I did all the artwork on Satan's Hollow. And we always started with the header. Because it had the feel for the game, and that was the big attraction. Even if you didn't have any other artwork on that game, and later on in years, decades down the line, where you just had these generic cabinets laying around, they just shove a marquee up in there. Well, it turns out the marquee, that was pretty much the signature of that game. That was its calling card. And I've had that people tell me at conventions so many times. When they're talking about Mortal Kombat, that they could go into the arcade and they'd look around and they'd see that that marquee, that Mortal Kombat marquee. That was their beacon, they would make that beeline right for where they were going to go. And that's kind of how all the marquees were. So they were very important, and all of us realized that. We all knew that. That was the signature of that game, regardless of whatever happened on the rest of it. You may put 10 times more work into the rest of the cabinet or the glass or the control panel, but whatever happened on that header, that's what was going to make or break that game. It literally, I think.
Well, actually, it's interesting you mentioned kind of that being the header, right? Like that beacon to kind of bring you into the arcade. The first time I actually went to Galloping Ghost several years back, that was from the outside. That's the first thing you see is just multiple Mortal Kombat machines lined up right at the front.
Isn't that a cool thing?
Yeah. Like that drew me in immediately to go in there.
I'm still blown away by all of this. I got to be honest with you. I really am. I mean, you got to understand, I went, 26, 27 years basically obscurity. Nobody knew who I was, and I didn't talk about it. Maybe to a few friends, I mentioned it. The Mortal Kombat guy. Yeah. To me, it was like, how do you bring that up in conversation? All those tubs. Oh, by the way, I'm the Mortal Kombat guy. So to me, it was like, if it comes up in conversation, I'll mention it. And 27 years went by and it never came up. So I didn't mention it. Ironically, one of my haunted house cast members, here's how I was rediscovered. One of my haunted house cast members was playing the original game, got to the end of it, and my name is at the end, which I did not even know. And he took a screenshot and circled it, and he sent it to me. He goes, "Oh my God, is this you?" And it's misspelled. They spelled it one last indignity, and I was like, "Yeah, it's spelled N-E-I." And he calls up and he goes, "Is this you?" And I said, "Oh yeah, boy, that was a lot of time." He goes, "Oh my God, really? This is you?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "But I never knew this. I've known you for years. How did I not know this?" And I said, I don't think anybody remembers any of that stuff. It was so long ago. And he goes, "Are you effing out of your mind? Have you completely lost you? Do you have any idea what's going on out there in the real world? You actually have fans. There's like people want to talk to you and meet you and shit." I'm like, yeah, right. Really, I swear to God, I was like, "Oh, please." I didn't believe it. I really didn't believe it. And he swore, he goes, I will prove it to you. I mean, it was almost like a dare. And he called up Doc Mack at Galloping Ghost. Doc, oh my God, he was relentless. Doc petitioned me almost 6 months. "Come on down. Paul, come on down. Hey, Saturday, we're doing a thing. We got some people coming down. You should come on down. Meet your fans." And in my mind, I'm thinking there's going to be 3 guys who are going to waddle up from their mom's basement, bring their 55-gallon drum of Mountain Dew with them in their hot pockets, and stand there to meet me, and talk my ear off for a while, and that'll be it. That'll be my 3 fans, and I'll meet them, and I'll be done. It wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. When I went there, and I did finally, after 6 months, I finally dropped by one day. They treated me like royalty. It was awesome. They introduced me to a lot of people, and quite honestly, my life radically changed from that moment on. So thank you, Doc Mac and Danielle over at Galloping Ghost. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much. You introduced me to a whole new life. So.
If you're in the Chicago area, just on the outskirts, I think it's probably Paul, about 25 minutes from downtown Chicago, maybe 30 at most. Galloping Ghost Arcade is ridiculously awesome. Like every time I'm out in Chicago, I go there for at least one night.
750 working games on the floor. It is the largest arcade on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Love it there.
Yeah, and just the best guy.
Yeah, we've got some pictures, I think, that I have on our Instagram, Ryan, from the last time I was actually at Galloping Ghost that I posted up. So it's just a great place. A lot of fun. I think it's like
back when you could travel.
Yeah, back when I could travel years and years ago. I think it's like a flat rate. I think Doc charges, $20-25, and it's just unlimited gaming for that period of time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Maybe less than that. Maybe that's like a weekend rate, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think during the week, like $15, you can play all day, play anything you want, go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I got to admit, the first time I walked in there, I saw games that I had forgotten I did. I forgot I did the work on WACKO. And, you do a lot of stuff, and you're kind of like, oh, my God, I did this.
Well, there's games that you go in there, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, there's so few cabs that exist of that specific game, and they happen to have them there.
How about it?
It's insane.
Do they have your Satan's Hollow there? I looked that cab up while you're talking about it. That's a smart looking cabinet.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I have a special place in my heart for that one, mainly because that was my first game, and it's all my artwork. The whole cabinet is my artwork, everything. That was rare even back then. A lot of times, you'd have like maybe 2 or 3 people, like Tapper. Pat McMahon, that's what I was thinking before. Pat McMahon and Margaret Hudson and I all worked on Tapper together. So it was unusual to have a whole game to myself, and Satan's Hollow was that. But it was really great that Paul Ferris had so much faith in me that he came and he kind of walked me through that. He let me do what I wanted to do. He was kind of a shoulder to lean on when I wanted to, but he never pushed an agenda on me. He let me do my own thing, and he was just the best damn boss. I got to be honest with you. My model for when I ran the haunted house, my model for being a boss was Paul Ferris. Okay, I remember thinking I want to be that kind of boss. He was just the coolest guy to work for, and he was really concerned. And he always went to bat for us. He went to the mat for us so many times. When I worked at Bally, my desk was in a place where you could not come and go in the art department without walking past my desk. It was right by the door. So anytime you would come back from a meeting, from the ivory tower, and every time, it never failed. You always have to go to the mat for us. He'd come in, and he was short and stocky. He was actually a wrestling coach. In fact, after Bally, he went back to teaching art. My nieces and nephews had him as their art teacher.
Oh, that's awesome.
Crazy. I know, just nuts, okay? And he went, and he was a wrestling coach at Lincoln Way West, just down the street from me. I live not too far from it, So it's funny. This guy's just an art god, and just the most humble and lovable. really, he really is. And Paul Ferris, he's the greatest guy. I mean, like I said, I modeled any managerial thing I had to do after how Paul handled things. Even when he let me go, like I was the first one to be let go out of the department, brought me into his office. Like he was almost crying. I was like, yeah, I know. It was like, I wish there were another way to do this. I really do. And I'm like, no, I knew I was getting the axe. It was every week, every Friday was Black Friday for a long time. It was just a matter of out in the factory. It was just a matter of time before I came to the art department. And I was a low man on the totem pole, so I knew I was the first one with a head on the block. So I was prepped. I was totally prepped for it. Paul, he was like, "Oh, this is breaking my heart, man." Paul, it ain't that bad, dude.
Well, it definitely didn't stop you. I mean, it sounds like you've gone on and done like all kinds of stuff. You worked in like all different kinds of franchises and stuff. So what's the franchise that you almost got, or the one that got away, or maybe if not that, like the franchise you wish you'd been the guy on that? You're like, I could have done that, but better.
Not so much that, but okay, I'll tell this story. Boy. Okay. My son just turned 20. My youngest son just turned 20, and he's adopted.
Happy birthday!
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but he's adopted from Kazakhstan, and we got him when he was 18 months old, and we were getting ready to go, and we had to go and live in Kazakhstan for a month to go do this. And that's, I can write a book about all the stuff that happened on that trip all on itself. But just before we went, 2 days before, I get a phone call from Saatchi & Saatchi in New York. They want to fly me out. They loved my artwork. They saw it in one of the illustration manual or one of the illustration annuals, and fell in love with it. We want you to do the entire new Lucky Charms campaign, all the artwork for this entire thing. We're going to fly you out here. Can you come out on, 2 days from now? We'll a hotel, set you up. We're going to be here a couple of days. You want to set this whole thing up. We probably got at least 6 months worth of work. I'm leaving for Kazakhstan the day that you want me to fly to New York. And I had to turn that down.
Oh. That stinks.
That was perfect. Oh my god! I could have timed that better. You guys both went.
Paul,
that was my response.
Paul, are you always going to be after those Lucky Charms?
Magically delicious, those sons of bitches.
All right, so
I don't know the rating.
that just stings. It really does. Well,
that was my big. That's kind of like one of my big regrets. Like if there was a franchise, but I worked on some great stuff. I mean, I worked on Jurassic Park. I got to work on Men in Black and some of the Star Wars stuff. It's just all great fun.
Well, I saw in one of your bios that you did some work of Little Mermaid as well.
Oh yeah.
Were you? You did the poster for that one?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, a lot of stuff I did. I did a lot of the marketing artwork for stuff, and which consisted of like any kind of in-store displays that were coordinated with the movie, and that's what that was. So I was designing all sorts of stuff that was like all the advertisements that were in the grocery store, or that were maybe on a billboard, or any kind of marketing stuff that tied into the movie. So a lot of times, those designs and that artwork was simultaneously created kind of as the movie was going, so that everything was ready to rock. When the movie came out, all of the marketing stuff also had to come out. So we were kind of on the same schedule as the movie, and we were also kind of in sync with design of the movie. So in a weird way, a lot of times some of the stuff that I came up with, or we came up with as a team, would end up changing the direction that maybe some of the design of the movie stuff was happening. One of those was a perfect example was Jurassic Park 2. And I was working on that, and well, okay, this is one of the funny stories. I'll just tell this right here since I already segued into it. I was doing I was doing colorations for the 6 dinosaurs that were going to be in the movie, and doing kind of like test colors for them, and then working at this agency called MB Sales in Oak Brook. And I brought them in. Oh, they had already sent it out to LA to whoever was looking at it. And they brought me in, and we were sitting at a table, and they had a little box in the center of it. We're going to have a phone conference with these 3 guys, like Jim, Steve, and Bob. So Jim and Bob do their talking with everybody, and then finally gets to the end, and Steve comes out and he goes, I want to talk to the artists. And he said, well, I really like what you did, but he goes, the T-Rex, you kind of went for like a tiger stripe on that. We're really not, that's not where the direction we're going to go. So I started fighting, and I'm arguing my point. Well, I read this article about, or the scientific, thing about natural occurring, patterns that they reoccur throughout nature, regardless of the animal. These that's all very interesting, but we're not going that way, So all right, I back off my argument. And the meeting ends, and the guy that's narrating or officiating the whole thing thanks them for taking their time out. And at the end, he goes, "Oh, and especially you, Mr. Spielberg, for taking time." What? That's the Steve I was arguing with? This is the Steve you let me make an ass of myself with? Oh, mother. No, you did not. You sat there and looked straight at me while I was saying all that shit. You couldn't have made a face or something.
Not many people in their life can say that they've tried to prove Steven Spielberg wrong.
Oh, it gets better. It's better. Okay. So now I'm driving home, and I'm rerunning the conversation in my head. What asinine thing did I say, So and I also had a laundry list of stuff that I had to do to change things. So I went home and I painted it, repainted it, and I brought it back. And so I'm calling the office. And I come to the art director's office. He's on the phone. And I come in. He just hands me the phone. And I said, "What's this?" And he goes, "Steven Spielberg."
Oh, God.
I'm like, yeah, right. He goes, "Steven Spielberg on the goddamn phone." Okay. So I get on the phone, and we talk about, what we're discussing. And then he goes, "Were you aware that was me you were talking to last week?" When you're arguing your point about the natural occurring patterns in nature. And I was at this little pause, like, no, I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that, sir. No. And he goes, "No, I didn't think so." He goes, "People usually don't argue with me like that." And
he's a rebel.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of we're having a little chuckle about that. And he goes, "Well, I'm glad that you did." And he said, "I'm kind of glad that you didn't know it was me." He goes, "You stuck to your guns," and he goes, "You made some good points, even though we went in a different direction." He goes, I'm glad that you gave me a straight poop on that," and I respect that. And I was like, "Wow, moment," that was like totally cool. So that's my Steven Spielberg story.
So speaking of movies, what are your thoughts on the new Mortal Kombat movie that's coming out here in a few weeks? Or in a week, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
That looks sick.
I know, and it's about Mortal Kombat.
It looks so good.
Like little kid. Yeah, I know. It's just, I know. I can't wait. The trailers. I keep rerunning the trailers. I'm like a little kid. I really am. I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. And it's funny how so many people have gone, "Are you pretty upset that they changed the logo?" They haven't talked to me in 27 years. I'm going to start getting upset now. No. I'm just, I'm thrilled. Look at this freaking franchise. Look at what it is. Okay. The reality of this is, when we were making that game, they were going to make 300 games. That was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll bet you most people don't know that. I'll bet most people don't know that. 300 games was the first run of Mortal Kombat. Okay, I was a freelancer. The only reason they hired a freelancer is because they didn't want to waste one of the regulars on that game. I'm not joking. They figured, well, we'll bring in Paul. He knows what the hell he's doing. He can do this stuff in his sleep, and he'll bang out in no time. We'll save a couple bucks, and out the door will go. And we'll print our 300 games. It'll be a flop, and we'll move on. I swear to God, that was the attitude. Okay? So
Come a long way.
I think it's safe to say, yeah.
Oh, one of Dan Pacina's favorite stories. I remember the first time he told it to me at dinner. We were laughing. He said that he was in one of the original meetings, and they were talking about, we're going to make 300 games, and he said 301. And they go, what do you mean 300? He goes, I want a game. He wanted a game, you know. And they're like, we can't give you a game. He goes, well, I'll trade it for pay. He was literally willing to trade his pay on the original Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat for a game, and they did not, and they would not give him the game. So, but yeah, 300 was the first run because they didn't think it was going to be anything, and that literally that's why I was involved because a freelancer. Okay, they let a freelancer make the most valuable piece of intellectual property the company ever owned? No, they didn't. They not intentionally, they didn't. But they sure realized their fuck up after it happened. Okay.
I mean, that franchise has spanned comic books and action figures and movies and video games. It's everywhere.
When all that happened, I called, okay. My inside guys were telling me, dude, not only this is like going crazy, which I already knew. He goes, but MK2 is in the works. You're a shoe-in. So that's why I called. I was fishing for work, and so I called and I got Ed. I got Ed Boone on the phone, and so we're talking it up a little bit, and then I'm chatting him up, and I'm saying, damn, dude, epic, crazy success. I mean, I've been in this business 10 years and never seen anything like this. This is insane, So proud to be part of the team. And he cuts me off and he goes, you weren't part of the team. I said, what? Wow. I said, what? He goes, no, you're a hired gun. You realize that, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. He goes, why did you think you were part of the team? I said, well, probably all the meetings with the rest of the team. Okay, they're a little bad blood, on that whole issue. So, and I was like, wow. And now the whole reason for me calling to get in on MK2 seems to just turned into dust, And the next thing that comes out of his mouth is, oh yeah, by the way, the legal department wants to tell you that we're enacting your, I forget what they call it, shit. Oh, it's a gag order clause in your NDA that you can't talk about Mortal Kombat or associate yourself with Mortal Kombat or show any artwork you did for Mortal Kombat for 18 months, or we'll sue you into the Stone Age.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that was my reward. Was a threat of a lawsuit if I brought it up or showed it. So that's why I was like, when 18 months was over, I didn't give a damn. And also here, the other thing, like my clients were M&M Mars and Kellogg's and a bunch of liquor companies. And believe it or not, liquor companies, boy, it's got to be like by the book with them, man. So all of these are clients that didn't need to hear about, Mortal Kombat being the focus of a congressional investigation, and really all that was happening at the time. So in my mind, I was kind of like, I don't need to be associated with these nice conservative clients that pay their bills, and they've been paying me a lot of money, way more money than I was making in the video game industry. So, in that respect, I mean, sure, I didn't get any more work after that. Maybe I was blackballed. I don't know. You would think that after doing Mortal Kombat, the world's most popular game, that I'd be swamped with offers, and yet no. So, can we say suspicious? Little bit, maybe.
So, do you keep up with any of those older artists from the original? Like, I know you had mentioned there's a few that you would chat with. Do you keep up with any of the others?
Yes. Yes, I do. Over the years, like I've stayed friends with Doug Watson since the day back in '82 and '84. We've been really good friends. I kind of have peripheral contact with everybody else. We just kind of we know where each other are. Okay, let's say that, more or less. But something very, very cool is the pinball game that I'm doing the sculpts on. The art director that I'm working for is none other than Jack Hager, who was my art director on Mortal Kombat. And
nice.
This is the first job that we're working together since Mortal Kombat.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you really. Oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah. Here we go. Go ahead.
I mean, you've really come like a whole long way from then. I mean, it's so cool to hear all your different stories on that was kind of this big thing, and now you're kind of have, reemerged kind of through that again. And it's cool to hear you be able to talk about, you've been through the ringer on all of this. Like, is there any advice to give to like young aspiring artists now to kind of let them know like what to kind of expect or how to avoid some of those things, or just like to keep up the dream and keep going? Because like I know I kind of got sidetracked and never really stepped into that artist role, and it makes it doubly cool to talk to somebody like you who's like really gone the full nine.
Well, first of all, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I'm really good friends with a lot of the artists that I came up with through the ranks. I mean, and a lot of us knew each other in college. And it's funny, like there's just a handful of us that from that whole college experience, that maybe there are 30 or 40 illustrators or really talented people that were at Eastern that year, and out of all that group, there were about maybe 4 of us that actually made it in the business. That was about it, and we all know each other. And we've all known each other for years. So it's easy to keep track. It's tough. It was tough then. It's 100 times tougher now. Back then, it was easier because maybe that's apples and oranges. You decide whether it's easier. Right here, it was easier because you can make real human connections. You worked with art directors, and they liked you, and you went to their office and you had lunch with them, and sometimes you would even meet their families, and you'd go to christenings at their house. I mean, you knew these people, they became your friends. It was a family that all kind of worked together. And being a freelancer, I floated from agency to agency. So, if you work with maybe 20, 30, 40 different art directors in a year, I've been doing this 37 years. That's a lot of people I've worked with. If you start doing the math on it, So, advice now. Here's the thing. Now I'm old and I'm grizzled, and I try not to be cynical because it would be easy to do. And most of my friends, unfortunately, a lot of them are very cynical. If you've been an artist as long as I have, you've gotten screwed over. somebody stole your artwork, somebody took credit for it, somebody plagiarized something, somebody took a portion of it, changed it, claimed it as theirs, and sent you a cease and desist letter when you actually tried to oppose it. That's the kind of shit that's happened. So after a while, you're kind of like, oh, Christ. Would I tell anybody to do this? I wouldn't wish this on my enemy, And yet, there's still a world out there that needs art. And art is essential. You can't spell earth without art, Without art, it's just
That's a good one.
I stole it. That's off of a pillow, I'm sure. It's embroidered on a pillow somewhere. But it is a good one, isn't it? I like that one, too. But it's true. Just recently, I saw something on Facebook. Somebody posted non-essential workers, and the top of the list was artists. And then somebody wrote below, you realize that artists put together this graphic. You wouldn't even have this if it had been for the artist, you idiot. You can't do anything without art. Everything you touch was touched by art. We take it for granted. And unfortunately, the artist is taken for granted. And here, you know this as well as anybody. Being an artist, it's a hard life. People come up to you and they think you should be giving your artwork away. Oh, can I have that? No. No, you cannot have that. I used to go to the zoo and draw back in the day, and Tuesdays was free day, which means it was derelict dad day. Okay, it was bad dad day. It's free to get into zoos, so the deadbeat dads would come by with the vodka on their breath and take the kids, and they'd argue with me. I'm sitting there drawing the animal, and you should just give this to my kid. What? Yeah, I've never understood that. There's just a mentality out there that for some reason, artists should be just giving their artwork away. It doesn't have value or something. So I would say my advice to somebody young in the business coming up, boy, know who you are. And don't let anybody knock that down. Don't let not your family, not your friends, not your well-meaning whoever, compatriots, whatever they are. Look here. This is where the art really is. It's in your heart. Follow that. Don't listen to anybody else. There are rules, but the nice thing about art is art. The best art is the art that broke the rules. So that'd be my advice. Is that and also get a wide range of stuff. Be good at everything. If you're taking computer design classes, then take some drawing classes too. Okay, that seems to be the problem in the art world right now. Is I've gone to agencies where I had a team, and we were working on some project, and we had to come up with multiple ideas, and I would just divvy out all the assignments and say, "Here, sketch these out, and I want to see your sketches." And they get that panic on their face. What do you mean sketch? Take a pencil and put it on paper and move it around until an idea comes out. That's what sketching is. What the hell? What the hell indeed? They're just not. Well, how about if I just download some stuff and put together just get an idea? Oh my God. Yeah. I'm explaining physics to the dog. I'm wasting my time and it's annoying the dog. Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I mean, a lot of it, I think, is with many industries too, just sitting back and having that pencil and paper and jotting down ideas and sketching. I mean, even what I do on a day-to-day basis for my work, the first thing I start with is pencil and paper.
Yeah.
I mean, I recently started a new job, and I mean, I pitched the hell out of my ceramics degree as, a desirable trait. Like, I learned so much from that, and it's like having interdisciplinary skills like really lets you be informed in multiple ways. I was just watching a video last week talking about, if you're going to be in game design or something, like, know how to play the cello, like hiking, go fishing on the weekends. Like, everybody here knows all the stuff about game design. It's the things that make us different coming together that really bring ideas and creativity. Like, everybody knows the things that they're there at the job to do.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. That is absolutely, be the Renaissance man. Have those experiences, go places, do things. I gotta say, I always did stuff. I never stopped wanting to do things. I was afraid of heights, so I went skydiving. Right? I didn't just make one skydive. I got 51 skydives. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. I was a ski bum for 10 years, an international ski bum. I have skied on every mountain in Europe and Canada and North America and even once in the Himalayas. I've had a lot of adventures. I've lived in Kazakhstan. I've had to pick a Russian on the run from an ex-cop that was my driver. That's some adventures, man.
And now you've done the Game Deflators podcast.
Add it to the list.
I can die now.
I was gonna.
We need so much more from you.
I was gonna say, like, this might be the lowest of his career.
There's nothing left. I've hit the apex. We got 5 minutes left. It's been a good run, guys. Oh God, hey, this has been great fun, man. This has really been fun.
Yeah, this has been great talking to you, Paul. I mean, you're a prolific person. I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel like, our listeners have gotten to hear some great stories about all kinds of different things. I mean, you're an inspiration and you're a great guy, and it's been awesome having you.
Oh, thanks, man. Been fun. It really is fun, and I'm glad I share all of this, and that hopefully it has some benefit to someone, and something good comes out of it. That just makes my day. It really does. So, that I can share all the stuff, and I gotta admit, I'm just as shocked and surprised at all of this as anyone. I have all my friends from high school, contacting me and going, "Crap, dude, you're like famous." I guess I am. Holy shit! It's weird. It really hasn't sunk in.
When did that happen?
Yeah, right, exactly. Hey. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Really, it's been an honor to be here and just enjoyed the talk with you. We had a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's good stuff, Paul. Thanks for hopping on, and we'll definitely have to have you on again in the future. For anybody listening, of course, find this episode at the GameDeflators.com and on our social media pages at the Game Deflators on Instagram and Facebook, as well as at Game Deflators on Twitter. And of course, catch this episode on your favorite podcast applications: Podbean, Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts, etc. And leave a review. We like those.
And remind the people again, Paul, where they can find you online.
You go to my Facebook page, or you go to my LinkedIn page. Actually, if you go to my LinkedIn page, there are 7 or 8 portfolios that are parked there that you can page through and see all the other stuff I do.
Sounds good. And we'll put links to that within the description as well.
Oh, thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thanks again, Paul. This has been episode 126 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.